Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Taco Tuesday. How's everyone doing today? Good morning. First in, Mark. Congratulations. Good morning. Good morning, John. Sterling with some of the earnings in here. Thank you for posting those, Sterling. It really helps out the channel. Lockheed Martin. Missing, though, on revenue. Beat. And I really like that you put in this beat miss, Sterling. Thank you so much. Another one, beat miss, was Verizon. Again, when companies miss on revenue, sit up and take notice. Also, this is the weakest so far earnings growth based off of this high of PE multiple since like 95. Now remember, 95 led into the .com, which would mean valuations would theoretically go through the roof at some point, but I'm not seeing that. It's just very interesting. Yes, they extended the tax credit for the chip and solar wafers. We had Redbook come out this morning, 4.6 for 5.6, so a little drop there, but not yet falling off the cliff, but a drop. Good morning, Sterling. GM was a beat. Triple M was a beat. 3M. GE was a beat miss. Another one with a miss in revenue. Really, when you start seeing, and these revenue expectations were already tamped down. They're already tamped down, and companies still can't beat them. There's warning signs out there. Good morning, McRangers. Good morning, Royal Palms. India AI even starts tomorrow. FCX was a beat. Hello, Charles. Good morning, Jacob. Philip Morris was a beat. So there you go. There you go. On other news, this is I don't know if everybody saw this. 10 largest stocks in S&P account for more than a third of the total market cap. I mean, it's up around this 35-36%, which were very, very concentrated there. Super concentrated. Doesn't mean it has to stop, but if anything changes the narrative on these mega caps, we could start seeing some selling pressure. So, until that, we also have NVIDIA pretty much single-handedly saving the market at this point. NVIDIA breaking out to new highs. All right. All right. As we said, we had Redbook come out. We have Harker speaking. Yay. We have Richmond Fed Manufacturing and Service Revenue Index. But it's all pretty quiet today. Pretty quiet on Tuesday. With all the earnings, you see Verizon getting hit pretty hard. Some of these that were even beats were still, look at GE with their miss on revenue. You have Raytheon, though. The war machine. Raytheon, did I miss that? RTX. You had RTX, I thought. I know Lockheed Martin was the miss. That's down. There's that Philip Morris beat right there. But overall, pretty red day. In terms of groups, let's just do a quick refresh. You only have energy and real estate's flat. Everything else is starting to roll over, at least heading in the open. Fed watch is still with the one cut in November. And then what do we have? One cut in November and still a cut in December. And then another one in January, then the pause. Fear and greed still solidly in greed mode, but out of extreme greed mode. Schiller PE still 37.29. So we covered the earnings thanks to Sterling. After the close, we got Seagate, Texas Instruments, but not a lot. That Enphase, if you're a solar person, but not a lot of stuff that's really going to shake the market after hours. Tomorrow morning, we got Boeing, AT&T, and Coca-Cola. Those are the big ones. And remember, Tesla after close tomorrow. So, what else we have? Denny's was a miss. People can't afford food anymore. People, if you can't afford to eat at Denny's, we got problems. We got problems. The underlying is not good. The underlying is not good. Good morning, Daniel. All right. Here's what I was looking for. So, yesterday, we still haven't triggered the double top pattern. It is still completely valid. Even with this little rotation, this pull down did not get enough to invalidate it. Right now, we already see yesterday you had some buying pressure. Some buying pressure, snap it back up, but we already closed below the level and below the 62.5. So personally, I'm watching any rallies for rollovers. Like this little rally into 1 hour rotation zone, we already rolled over. Looking also for to reconnect with 58.58 and then possibly triggering the double top. It's not triggered yet. I need the follow through now close. Personally, I need the follow through close on the daily because so far we've only closed below with the 4 hour, but that was the first thing I do watch for with 4 hours close below that 62.5, and I'm watching for front run patterns. So I'm still keeping an eye on that, and we've already broken below yesterday's low, which we had a little buying pressure at. So my next, again, 58.58. Now, if you're looking for anything, here's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just using the harmonics. Again, they don't have to be exact, but on any rally, 58.66, then 58.74. And then on a stronger thing, I don't know what would trigger it, but 58.82 would be my key levels. And 58.82 takes it back to a very key resistance zone. Also remember, we have daily cycles trying to bounce and moving down, but weekly cycles are officially rolling over now. Officially rolling over, and this double, which has not triggered yet, could take us back to the weekly rotation zone. So that's exactly what I'm looking at right now. Good morning, Ted. There, our Raytheon was a beat. Thank you for putting that in there. Yeah, I noticed the daily yesterday when you said cautiously bullish, price moving up barely, but volume just not just not there. Maybe Tesla will be the spark for that. It could be. It could be. And remember, very good point. Also, cautiously, and we got the little rally, but it couldn't sustain. Look at this. Look at the volume dropping off. Verse, even when we came off the beginning of September lows, well, really the second week of September, and you see, look at the rally off here. Look at the rally. At least you had decent volume. Now look at what's happening. Just look at the volume trend. It's been trending down. We've been climbing up, but we're losing momentum. We're losing momentum, and the volume, this rally's getting weaker and weaker. It's getting long in the tooth. Where did that saying come from? Long in the tooth. I know I knew about that at one point, but that's been long gone in the memory banks. Long gone in the memory banks. So we're coming out of overbought conditions. We're coming out of weekly cycle tops, and we're waning momentum, and we're still, this is a minor wedging pattern. So that I'm still watching, even with front runs, I need these doubles to trigger. The NASDAQ has not even traded back down below this 20,352 area. You can see the low here yesterday with the buying pressure. The buying pressure, and then the U.S. session closes and it rolls over. This had a lot to do with NVDA yesterday. Really pay attention to this 20,350 area. If I get a 4 hour close below that, I'm shifting in the short term to rollover mode. And then the targets are 20,303 and 20,255 roughly. Until then, I'm still using the harmonics. Just like we ran up close to 20,450 right on this little spike. That's still the key level I'll be watching. And then 20,497, so 20,500. NASDAQ also. Weeklies rolling over. This could take us back into weekly rotation zone and the potential double that has not triggered. You need the close below 20,206. So just remember 20,200. That takes us back to the major prior breakout level into the weekly rotation zone. Bad signal for home builders. Sherwin-Williams Company. Miss. Yes. Yes. We can't paint the town red because Sherwin-Williams is missing. That's also people running out of money to even repaint their house. Like people do a lot of painting projects. I mean, that's something that's not that expensive. Hey, let's change the color of this room. We really don't like it. But when people can't even do that, that's like a minor home improvement thing. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. See, you're watching. It's not just a bad signal for home builders because think about this. Let's say you're like, hey, you know what? We really need to spruce up this room. We're tired of this wall color. That's something you could do in a weekend. But when people are cutting back even on that, because a lot of people can paint, I want to change this. I want to change the kid's bedroom color. I want to do this. I want to change, you know what? We're tired of this color. When they can't do that, it's like the coupon thing. It's in the and restaurants at lunch. Pay attention to the little things. Good morning, Richard. The little things will tell you a lot of times, like the things that you see in the underlying economy, like that, then trying to, read the next news article and, oh, well, this stock's doing this. Really start watching. I mean, the stock is showing you with the earnings and the revenue, but then pay attention to what people are doing. You're going to get a lot more out of that long term. A horse's teeth grow with age, and the length of the front teeth is often used as an indicator for equine age. It's long in the tooth equities to old age. Thank you, Jacob, with the Google answer. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, there's was still got a different, but it's like, all right. So it's essentially saying long in the tooth, whether for horse or for people, like with the gums receding, it's saying you're getting older. So this market's getting long in the tooth. The dollar wake up every day and choose violence? I don't understand that statement, Dark Stream. The Dow, the Dow also, look at this Dow yesterday. Look at it with the 62 and a half. 43,179. Where did Dow close yesterday? 43,177. And when this was researched, it was done actually to the exact number. And it did close below that exact number. We already tagged off the 87 and a half. By the way, the next little key area I'm watching, this is with the reverse harmonics, is right here. 42,776 at the bottom of the rotation zone. We're against very key supports. That's what I'm using it on any rally. I just use your harmonics again. I don't always need to call them out. Put them on your chart. That's the whole point of this. In the on the little macro, on the mini macro, on the Russell 2230 is what I'm watching if this rolls over. This broke the first level key support yesterday. We're now at the second support base. It dipped below, but it's trying to hold above. If this rolls over into the open, I'm watching 2230. On any rally now, major resistance is 2276. The VIX climbing back up a bit. Climbing back up. The DAX has confirmed a double. Confirmed a double. Not triggered it on the 4-hour or the daily yet. So if you're trading the DAX, watch 19,530 even on the 4-hour. 19,530. So Google contradicting itself. Who somebody run it through AI and see what AI says. By the way, notes bouncing a little. I'm still watching for the next rollover point 111 to 111.04. A little bounce in here. It is still daily cycles getting down, but weekly cycles getting to the bottom. So we could be putting in at least a short-term bottom with the notes, and possibly a yield is getting to a toppy area. We hit this 4.02, very key and harmonic. The last time we were here, 4.02 was back in July. On the way down, anticipating that Fed rate cut, and now look, we've already wiped out This has gone up, what? Over 60 basis points on the yield on the 10-year since the Fed cut 50 basis points. My key area I'm watching on any fullback is about 4.12. 4.12. And by the way, the double is never triggered or confirmed, but it's off the table. So you don't have that. So it's just coming back into very key support. 10-2s, not much to talk about. Dollar index continuing to come up to the next cluster area. And this is, remember, it's a 62.5. You can't see it on the chart. So dollar also getting a little long in the tooth. This is a long in the tooth Tuesday. Long in the tooth Tuesday. Minor support coming in at 103.50. Major support now coming in at about 103.20. So those are the two support levels I'm watching with the rising rotation zone. By the way, if the dollar does close above this very key cluster area, just remember 103.80. Then I'm watching for longer term, even after pullbacks, for it to shift continually higher. Crude, not much to talk about. This was not a solid double bottom. It's just back into a very strong resistance channel with a flagging pattern. So I'm still watching to see where, if this flag rolls over again, where we find key support, and then we might be setting up with at least a potential something buy pattern against the some key support, but nothing yet for me, from my perspective. Gold, little pause yesterday, setting up a little mini potential double top. So we have a new trailing stop level, 27.2850 on a closing basis, which would also take out the 4-hour rotation zone. And only be a pullback in the daily rotation zone. It could only be a pullback back to prior major support. We're closing in on the 27.60 next harmonic, and then above that you have 28.20. Silver, continuing to push higher. Remember, the next key harmonic cluster, the 62.5, and the projection cluster is about 35.40 to 35.50. Yen, continuing to weaken a bit. Finally hit that 50% retracement level from the highs in July back to the lows in September. So right in here, I'm looking for, now we've hit here, I'm looking for at least some kind of potential pause up in here, with then eventually the follow through, and we'll have to see that 153.50 area. Euro coming down really close to that final target with waning momentum. So this is why I'm also watching for a pausing area coming with the dollar. The euro's essentially completed the double top. We're coming into a very key support zone. Hey, good morning, Martinez. Let's see, spiders. You still have the little mini double on. So if you're doing the short-term stuff on the spiders, the short-term, today, 581.39 is key on the closing basis. 580.44, 579.49. On the Qs, it's really, right now, if we use a little mini bounce pattern, you're watching 490.92 on the close. Bitcoin pulling back into a very key support zone. So far, just a 1 day yesterday and a partial day today, but we have daily cycles rolling over. So I'm seeing if we form any short-term pattern over the next day or so in here for a potential bounce play. Ethereum, still, these are bounce plays, especially with Ethereum. Still watching for the rollover plays in Ethereum. By the way, there's potential doubles off the table. It's now too far extended to the right. What else do we have? NVDA, just want to point this out because new all-time highs, the doubles off the table. So the mini topping pattern never triggered. 147.02 is the next minor harmonic. Key support coming in at 137. This is single-handedly saving the market. Thank you, Royal Palms. Do hit that like button. Let's see, another bad sign for consumer weakness. PII, Polaris Industries miss. Yep, that's a not must have. That is a discretionary income thing. And a miss. Let's take a look at that chart. Thank you for putting that in. So people are cutting back, and that's already, look at this. Look at this though. Polaris, which topped out last August, miss. At least one component. I'm not going to look at everything, but then strokes, yes, miss. Look at that. Here's your weekly chart. Let's do the little. And if you've looked on the weekly, of closed back in July below the 62.5. So even with this pop up, which actually just took it back to the key, support becoming resistance, and now the roll down, and your magnet price is 64.90, and then 51.13. So Polaris. Then if we take it back, I'm curious. If we take it back all the way, this is sort of geeking out on here. Look where the key. Look at this lineup. All right, let me change the color on one of these. Hold on. Look at this. Fascinating when you start really working with harmonics. It's fascinating. Look at this. So the 75 of this little harmonic lines up perfectly with the 62.5 from the overall massive harmonic from the lows in 2009. You remember, after our major recession, putting in a bottom, running all the way up, never regained those highs. So these are the dominant harmonics still. So the key thing to watch for is around the 65 area. We're trading 75 still, but 65 if you're going to watch this long term, because that could shift it. And then that would take us back to some very key levels potentially. That's where you just get to play with these levels and start to notice very key stuff. And this would be a harmonic cluster for me. So, because, and I don't have a position in this, but let's say I was watching this. We closed below 62.5, watching then for rollover plays. This would be if I was structuring something with options, or if I was structuring something where I was short the stock. This would be a very key area I'd use as a first target. And that's longer term. It could take weeks to get here. And I don't just point this out. You don't have to trade. I don't think many people would trade trade Polaris, but this is the kind of analysis that I challenge you to do on your markets, and look for these kind of clusters. Thank you for pointing that one out. So that's where we sit. Let's just peek back at the, I didn't mean to do that. Just peek back at the S&P going into the open. Just look at those shorter term charts. Hope that helps some people. Hope they're seeing how you can use your harmonics to line things up and know when the probability shift. If you can incorporate that little one thing into whatever other indicators you like to use, whatever, I think it could potentially help your trading. Resistance going to the open is about 58.75, and then on a stronger rally, really watch about 58.80. We got some little minor buying pressure in here. Pre-open, midday European pre-open. So still where we got, it broke a little below yesterday's key buying pressure. But really watch, it did do some damage. If it starts closing back below about 58.65 on any rollover play, I'm really then watching for that 58.58, then 58.50 area. All right, that's where we sit. We will call it a day. Hope everyone has a wonderful trading day. Again, big shout out to Sterling putting all those earnings and all that other information, especially putting that Polaris thing at the end. Really, really appreciate it, everyone. Give a like button to Sterling. We need individual like buttons. Let's all click on Sterling's like button, and we'll talk to everyone tomorrow. Bye for now.